Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to our regular council meeting for today, Tuesday, March the 10th. It is 9:30 a.m. and I'll call this meeting to order. We have present with us all members of council as well as the municipal clerk. I'll read the territorial land acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge the township of Elmwood-Haldimand is located on the Mississaugan-Anishinaabe territory and is the traditional territory of the Mississaugan-Anishinaabe. Township of Elmwood-Haldimand respectively acknowledges that the Mississauga nations are the collective stewards and caretakers of these lands and waters in perpetuity, and that they continue to maintain this responsibility to ensure their health and integrity for generations to come. We have the agenda. It's recommended the Council of Corporation of the Township of Elmwood-Haldimand enact as follows: that the agenda for the regular council meeting held on March the 10th, 2026 be approved. We are expecting, just so everybody's aware, we are expecting, oh, they are on now. Okay, I'll forget that. They weren't there yet, but they are on now. So, can I get a mover and a seconder for that? By Deputy Mayor Stover, seconded by Councillor Booth. Any discussion? All in favor? That's carried. Disclosure of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof. Seeing none, that'll be duly noted. Delegations and presentations. This morning we're pleased to have Rima, Carrie, and Eilir Azizi with us, and they're going to make a presentation from the MNP, and they are did some work for our financial department review. So are you on there with us this morning? We can't hear you. Are you good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Well, we're gonna hopefully have a little bit better luck than we did last time. It was, you talked for 15 minutes before we got the back to you, but we couldn't hear you anyway, so didn't make a lot. But we appreciate it for us, and just waiting for a second to get everything straightened around, and then we'll be ready to go. I guess we're pretty well ready to go now, actually. So go ahead, please.
Okay, I'll share screen so you're all able to see the presentation on our end. Let me know when you all can see it. Everyone can see the presentation?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you. Good morning, Mayor and members of council. Thank you for the opportunity to present the Finance Department review conducted for the Township of Elmwood-Haldimand. My name is Rima and I'm with MNP. I have my colleague here, Eilir Azizi. He's going to be speaking on the technology portion of the presentation. So the purpose of I'll start with the purpose. So the purpose of this engagement was to assess the township's finance processes, internal controls, and supporting systems, and identify opportunities to strengthen operational efficiency and long-term financial management. Today, we will walk council through the key observations from our review and the recommendations developed to support the township moving forward. Our agenda for today will first outline the engagement objectives and provide background on the project. Next, we will go through approach and methodology, including how the review was conducted. We will then summarize current state observations that emerge from our assessment of the township's finance processes. Following that, I'll present the recommendations and opportunities for improvement identified through our analysis. Then we'll discuss technology opportunities, including options for strengthening the township's financial systems. And then we'll walk you through the high-level implementation roadmap, outlining how these recommendations could be implemented over time. So we'll begin with the engagement objectives and provide some context around the background and the project. So the township engaged MNP to conduct a process review of the finance department. The objective of this review was to assess whether the township's finance processes and internal control framework align with the leading practices and operational needs of the organization, while also identifying opportunities for improvement. As part of this engagement, we developed a current state process documentation, assessing the internal control framework and conducting a gap analysis. The outcome of this work was the development of practical recommendations designed to enhance the township's finance processes. These recommendations focus on improving operational efficiency, strengthening overflows, and addressing key bottlenecks within the finance function. As the township continues to grow and evolve, it is important that its financial practices, policies, and processes remain aligned with the strategic goals and operational priorities. The engagement work plan. So to complete this review, we followed a collaborative and iterative engagement approach, working closely with township finance staff throughout the process. The engagement was structured in five key phases. The first phase focused on project initiation, where we confirmed the project scope, established governance structures, and collected initial documentation required for the review. The second focused on understanding the current state. This included reviewing policies and procedures, conducting process workshops with staff, and documenting the township's existing finance processes. In phase 3, we focused on designing the future state, which involved developing future state process considerations and defining key functions and responsibilities for the treasurer role. Now we are in phase 4, which focuses on final reporting. This includes the development of the final report, high-level implementation roadmap, and the presentation of recommendations to council. The final phase involves interim treasurer support and knowledge transfer, where we will continue to assist the township with key treasurer functions while supporting the transition to a permanent treasurer. Throughout the engagement, ongoing project management and regular status reporting were maintained to ensure alignment and transparency. Next, I will briefly walk through the approach and methodology used to conduct this review. So to develop the final report and recommendations, MNP used a structured approach that combined stakeholders engagement, process assessment, and industry best practices. First, we conducted a current state assessment, which involves reviewing existing processes and validating them with township staff through workshops and discussions. This helped ensure that our understanding of roles, responsibilities, and workflows are accurately reflected how operations function today. Second, based on the gaps and pain points, we developed future state process considerations designed to improve efficiency, clarify responsibilities, and address operational challenges. Third, we incorporated expert insights from MNP's internal teams, including specialists in cloud accounting, bookkeeping, digital finance solutions. This helped us evaluate potential go-forward options and ensure that our recommendations align with leading practices. And finally, we developed actionable recommendations aimed at addressing both individual process improvement and broader structural challenges within the finance function. Together, these steps informed the final report and recommendations presented today. Throughout the review, MNP applied our people, process, and technology framework to evaluate the township's finance operations from a holistic perspective. From a people perspective, we looked at roles and responsibilities, training needs, staffing capacity, and the extent to which knowledge is embedded within individuals versus formally documented. From a process perspective, we assessed the level of manual effort required, whether procedures are documented and standardized, and where bottlenecks or inefficiencies may exist. Finally, from a technology perspective, we evaluated the township's financial systems, including their capabilities, limitations, and the level of integration between systems. Looking at these three elements together allowed us to develop balanced and practical recommendations that address operational challenges across the entire function. Next, I will briefly recap the current state observations. So as council may recall, these findings were previously discussed in an earlier presentation around November of last year. I will summarize the current state findings at a high level as they provide important context for the recommendations that follow. Through the process workshops, the documentation review, several key themes emerged across the township's finance processes. First, we observed key person risk, where critical knowledge and responsibilities are concentrated within a smaller number of individuals. While this is common in smaller organizations, it can create operational risk if key staff are unavailable. Second, we noted a limited formal documentation and institutional knowledge, meaning many processes rely on individual experience rather than standardized procedures. This can make onboarding and knowledge transfer more challenging. Third, there is heavy reliance on manual processes due to limited integration between financial systems, requiring staff to manually move and reconcile data between systems, which reduces efficiencies. Additional themes relate to organizational resilience and service delivery. So we observe limited succession planning, particularly for key roles within finance department, which can create continuity risks when staff transition or leave the organization. We also noted limited self-service capabilities for residents, meaning many routine transactions and inquiries must currently be handled manually by staff rather than through online services. And finally, we observed limited segregation of duties, which is often a challenge in smaller finance teams. In some cases, the same individual may perform multiple steps within a financial process, which can reduce the effectiveness of controls. We also identified capacity constraint within the finance function, including turnover in the treasurer role and limited staffing depth, which can create operational pressure during peak periods such as budgeting, year-end audits. These themes provided important context for the recommendations developed to strengthen the township's finance operations. Now we'll go into recommendations and opportunities, but before we go into summarizing the recommendations, I will briefly explain how they were developed. So through the process workshops and current state assessment, we identified several operational challenges and improvement opportunities. Based on this analysis, 8 recommendations were developed to address the observed gaps and improve operational efficiency. For each recommendation, we documented the current state challenge, future state opportunity, desired outcome, and a high-level implementation timeline to help ensure the recommendation are practical and actionable. This slide provides a visual overview of the recommendations based on impact and financial commitment. In the top left quadrant, we identified quick wins, recommendations that can deliver meaningful improvement with relatively low financial investment. In the top right quadrant, we identified strategic investments, which may require greater planning and resources, but are important for long-term transformation. This framework helps the township prioritize initiatives, beginning with quick wins while planning for long-term improvements. With that context, I'll now walk you through the 8 recommendations at a high level. Building on the current state observations, we've developed 8 recommendations. So based on our assessment, the first recommendation focuses on exploring modern digital systems to support financial processes, including implementing an integrated ERP system to streamline workflow and improve data accuracy. Second, we recommend strengthening the capacity and skills within the finance department through cross-training, education opportunities, and backup coverage for key processes. Third, we recommend strengthening succession planning and knowledge transfer, including documenting key processes and developing structured transition planning for critical roles. And fourth, we recommend enhance the customer experience through digital self-service, enabling residents to access their municipal accounts and services online. The remaining recommendations focus on strengthening internal processes and long-term financial management. First, we recommend enhancing institutional knowledge by developing formal policies, procedures, and standardized documentation for financial processes. Second, we recommend digitizing receivables and payments, including expanding electronic payment options and implementing automated reconciliation tools. Finally, we recommend strengthening long-term financial planning and capital management, including structured reserve strategies and multi-year financial planning. Together, these recommendations are intended to improve efficiency and strengthen financial governance and support the township's long-term operational needs. Many of these opportunities also relate to technology and digital enablement within the finance function. So I will now turn it over to Ilzir, who will walk through the technology opportunities identified in the review.
Thank you, Raima. And Mr. Mayor and member of council, thank you very much for having us today. My name is Ilir Azizi. I'm a senior manager with MMP out of Toronto office, and I've been part of the team to do a current state assessment of technology observations, but also provide a recommendation as we'll go through the slides I'll be presenting. So in terms of the current state observations, so what we found is that the current platform, Keystone, lacks integration with other key systems, resulting in fragmented data, a lot of manual work, limited reporting capabilities, and staff taking a lot of time, for manual data entry, but also bringing data from various systems to facilitate reporting. So from that perspective, there are challenges there in terms of accuracy, time spent on activities that could otherwise be more efficient, a better system. Keystone, we heard that is not user-friendly or well integrated, with only key staff members having knowledge about it, which makes it a bit problematic from a sustainability perspective and creating single points of failure in terms of business continuity. The other thing is there is little formal documentation or training available for Keystone. Our impression is that this is a system where there are no upgrades being made to the platform, and it is not a friendly web modern architecture and user experience. In addition, the system offers limited support for electronic payments, such as electronic fund transfer or credit card payments, etc., which introduces, another set of constraints for the township. So in terms of the business need, what we identify is a clear need to upgrade, rather to replace the current system, Keystone, with a more modern integrated ERP financial system. For the benefits that Raima spoke earlier. It'll increase efficiency, transparency, service quality, improve the user experience, bring the township to a technology that is more modern, that you can build, it's more integrated with other technologies that the township uses. If we can go to the next slide, Raima. This is our financial capabilities model. So when we assess existing ERP products, we use this model to overlay the technology functions that cover those business capabilities. What we found is that Keystone partially supports 8 out of 10 financial processes. The fact that there is pieces of technology behind it doesn't mean that it's optimal. It's just that Keystone partially support. So there is Keystone supporting those functions. It doesn't, however, is not optimal and is in need of replacement, as we said earlier. Payroll is EasyPay, and budgeting and forecasting capabilities is provided through Excel. If we can go to the next one. So in terms of go forward options, we identified 3. One option is to maintain the status quo, pretty much remaining on Keystones, on Keystone, what that means is that you'll continue to experience the same challenges as you're doing now, and like limited scalability, integration, challenges, succession and continuity, manual processes probably continue to exacerbate as the volume increases, compliance and reporting limitations, etc. The other option we considered is implementing a new ERP. As we mentioned, you'll have access to new advanced technology. There'll be cost savings, although there'll be an investment upfront. There'll be cost savings over time due to efficiency and the effectiveness of operations, eliminating silos, better data management and reporting capabilities, etc. Then another option we considered, it would be a hybrid, strategic outsourcing for some functions plus new ERP system. As you can imagine, this is probably a bit more cost expensive than the second option. The challenge there is that will introduce likely a loss of control for some functions. There's a lot of activities that will be outsourced to a third-party vendor, which will create that layer of complexity. In order to compare the three options, we devise a set of criteria. If we can go to the next one, Raima. And we plot them in this chart. There is a lot of explanations in the slides that describe what each criteria means in this context and what does it mean in the context of each of the options. But this chart provides you, this evaluation metrics provide you a sense as to whether the strengths and weaknesses of each of the options are. We do recommend option B for the township to go to market for a new ERP product. The improvements are essential through this option, are essential to achieving your desired future state, a paperless, resilient, and high-performing operating model for the finance department. And the long-term benefits far outweigh the initial cost, as we said earlier. But with this new product, it'll position the township for sustainable growth, against inefficiency, stronger compliance, and better service to the residents. If we can go to the next one. Again, I'm not gonna, so this gets into the details of each evaluation criteria. I spoke about some of them, but I wanted to show, if we can skip this one, Raima, I wanted to show what could be a couple of products. If we can go to the next one. What we did for this engagement, we wanted to give you a sense of what some of the products in the market are, what are their strengths and what are their drawbacks. And we identified two that we thought are relevant to the public sector and municipalities in particular. So Sylogist and Sage Intacct. These are two products that we know well. By no means we're recommending either of them. Again, our recommendation is to actually devise the full set of requirements and going to the market to pick the right solution for the township. Nonetheless, we wanted to give you a sense as to what these products can provide for you so that you are more informed when you go to market. So Sylogist is an ERP platform, is a Canadian firm, and is very tailored to municipal government. Sage Intacct is another product, not as tailored to municipal government, but nonetheless has great features that could meet the needs of the township. If we can go to the next one. We wanted through this one to provide you a sense of both products, what the cost estimates might be, and we provided that using the numbers for the township so that you get a sense before going to market as to how much or what's the cost range that we're talking about, so that council and the administration of the township is more prepared as to what to expect. In terms of the cost structure, we look at software licensing. Essentially, because these are web-based platforms and cloud-based platforms, you pay a license for the software. There are implementation services. This is the cost of a vendor that will come and support the implementation of the product. That includes needs assessment, building and configuring the system to the needs of the township, testing of the platform, deployment, and integrations with other systems that you already have. That could be add-on modules that they come with their own price tag. For example, in the case of Sylogist, it would be tax, citizen, ERP, core financial modules, etc. Every product have their own pricing structure, and as part of the ERP requirements, we wanted to show you what the cost structure across categories are so that you are more informed when you go to market, what to expect and how to read their submissions. But also be more purposeful in terms of how you design the RFP and the approach you take. There could be data migration services. Those are add-ons. For example, if you want to integrate or bring data from other systems, there is a cost associated with that. And again, as part of the RFP package and the requirements document that you'll be developing to go to market, those data migration and integration points can be explicit, so that you are more particular about what you're looking for, and and get as much as possible close to the cost expectations. Training and change management is another component. And in terms of the total estimated pricing for Sylogist, we're talking about between 160 to 250,000, depending again on the modules you want to enable and the number of users that you want to give access to. Sage Intacct, similar cost structure, a bit pricier, but again, the best way is to go to market so you get the best offers from the vendor community. If we can go to the next one. I think, yeah, this talks about the third option, and what some of the functions that could be outsourced, particularly when it comes to external advice, financial advisor, or bookkeeping and cloud accounting services. Raima, I think we are at the end of the technology slides, unless there is any questions.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I have one question. When you were showing the third option, you had two different, the bookkeeping as well as the other one. Are you recommending we need both of them or either one of those?
If you can go back to
The previous one, yeah, right there. No,
This one?
no, it was just before the one you stopped at.
Let me just go to the summary here. Maybe it's here.
Is this the one that offered the two different, whether you had the assistant or a kind of a manager that was involved in the assisting for the option number 3, which was the going outside?
Sorry, what is the question, Mr. Mayor?
We can't hear you clearly, sorry.
I believe it was, John, speaking to your microphone. Oh, sorry. I believe it was option 3 that was showing the outsourcing. And it showed two different, people that would assist you, a kind of a supervisor or a.
Oh, I see.
And I'm like, question is both of those or not?
Yeah, well, it depends if you want to take them both, but yeah, we advise that you acquire both those services. I think it's slide 33. Yeah, so Mr. Mayor, so what we identified is these two services and we gave an estimated cost. But again, it goes back to what sort of services the township is prepared to outsource. You can go with either of them or both of them, or it could be other additional services that you might find suitable to have it outsourced to a third-party vendor. But for
Thank you.
these two, okay.
Mr. Mayor? Yeah, I have another question from council. I have another question from council, if you're still there.
I can hear you, yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, through you, your worship. When you're talking about comparing the pros and cons of the ERPs and these two softwares that you've recommended, do you have a list of other communities around here or townships? Do they use these? Like what's the county use or the other 5 or 6 communities around us? Is this something that is used extensively by a lot of other municipalities or?
Yeah, Sylogist is being embraced by quite a few municipalities in Ontario and across Canada, particularly in Alberta. We can certainly provide a list as to where they are, but currently MMP is finalizing the implementation, for example, for Dufferin County, and has started implementation in 2 or 3 other small municipalities in Ontario, like the township of Erin, and escapes me now, but I can certainly provide a list of those. And I believe they're very comparable to the size and complexity of your township as well.
Okay, so would you also include in that list, like what are the other townships around us using, right? I'm getting the indication from you that I don't think any of the other townships around us, or for example, the county, what are they using?
Yeah, so that's I will need to take that back in terms of the scope of the exercise for this one. We typically associate that activity with solution selection in terms of doing a full market analysis as to what others are using, what other products are there in the market that might be suitable. What we provided for Sylogist and Sage Intacct was just to give you an indication of the cost structure and the pricing range.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, please. I think it's either Rayma,
Oh,
if you're ready, or Elar. Continue on, thank you.
there is a couple more slides left here. So the next section kind of focuses on high-level implementation roadmap. So the final section would focus on giving you an implementation roadmap, which would include any key success factors and indicative implementation timeline. The critical success factors slide. So before implementing any sort of initiative, there are several success factors that help ensure successful delivery. This would include leadership alignment, clear goals, and appropriate resource capacity to ensure initiatives are properly supported. Additional factors such as specialized expertise, integrated decision-making, change management, and training help ensure staff are supported throughout the transition and that new processes are successfully adopted. Together, these factors help ensure implementation is structured, sustainable, and aligned with the township's operational priorities. This slide provides a high-level implementation timeline for the recommendation. So the roadmap illustrates how initiatives could be sequenced over time, beginning with some foundational activities and progressing towards more strategic initiatives. For example, we've got the hiring for the vacant treasurer role and strengthening internal control, documentation showing, and then other initiatives such as digital systems implementation and digitization of receivables and payments require additional planning and may occur over a longer time horizon. So overall, the roadmap provides an approach for prioritizing initiatives, balancing quick improvements with longer term strategic investments. Next are the appendices, so we won't be going through that. That is more so the detailed recommendations and has been provided as part of the presentation for, you know, additional context and details. So I'll kind of pause. That's the end of our presentation. So anyone has any questions?
Thank you both very much for your presentation. I'd like to make the first comment. I'm very happy we decided last time we got together to stop the meeting and go wait till this one, because it was so much clearer and much easier understood what we heard today, in my opinion. Does anybody I have one first. The last chart you showed with the progress report or the goals and implementation, was staff involved in that decision making or recommendation?
So that was actually put together from our understanding of the process, not necessarily we didn't really take staff input, but I would say based on our understanding of, you can say, timelines that we normally see, how these tend to go, this is how we put together. So that's why it was a sample roadmap. It wasn't like the full, I would say, roadmap. But if what we could do is kind of work with management and kind of come up with a more solidified roadmap, if anything.
Thank you. The council members? Go ahead, Councilor O'Neill.
I'm just gonna observe that when I look at the 8 recommendations, these are things we've already talked about at our council table, and they were being talked about at previous council tables. So what I'm seeing today isn't new, but it is collected in one resource that clearly outlines what the needs are.
Thank you. Go ahead, Councilor Ainsworth.
Yeah, to you, Mayor. You know, when I read through this here whole thing, it really shows where we kind of sit in that finance department, what we have for staff and how much payload they got on their back in there. You know, some of the things that I wrote down here is limited staff, succession planning, out of date programming, programs don't talk to each other, too much room for mistakes, no self-service portal, and you know, like one staff doing too many duties. So there's lots of room for error and time consuming. So out of this whole report, it really showed that we need something in there and in the amount of workload that our staff have in that department. And the window for error. So, you know, maybe I'd like to know where we'd like to go next with this, you know, affordability wise. And obviously with this whole portal, it really shows that we need something there. So just be my comment.
Thank you. Good comments, both. Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Through you, Mayor Lobo, I would like to thank MNP for getting the letter straight, for your detailed approach and your report here. And I'm not surprised when I read through this. I just kind of, as I was listening, Googled what Northumberland County is in the process of looking for a new ERP. I think that's the letters there. As Great Plains is, they're going to be completed. I think it was 2029. So they're in the process. You probably already know that. So I think that we really, it'd be interesting to get the input from the treasurer in that seat, and and I'm not surprised about the self-service component and Keystone not being the proper accounting program. So I'm happy that we have gone this route, and I look forward to the next steps. Thank you.
Thank you. I have one other question, for MNP. Got that right. You brought together two people or two companies that could probably, help us out with some of this. And I'm sure there's many more. Do you have any idea, like, is there 10 other companies that could be, providing this service? Or is there 50 or is it just basically 2 or 3?
If I may answer, Mr. Mayor, that there is more than 2 or 3. I would count probably 5 or 6. The best way, though, to get a good match between what the market offers, and what you're trying to achieve is to do that rigorous part in really identifying the requirements for the township so that you can really be in a price range that's affordable for you and get the services of the vendor that provide the best fit. But there is more than, to answer in short your question, there is more than those two that we provided. Again, we're not necessarily recommending one or the other. We just wanted to show an indication of the cost structure, the price range, so that you are more informed for the next steps.
Thank you. Hi there. I guess I'm kind of just throw my 2 cents into the whole thing. I tend to agree with most of what the council have already stated, and I'm sure staff know that the system we have is old and antiquated, and it's hard to work with, and the information is limited, and because we have people doing the same thing over and over again, the same people checking, and by that I meant checking themselves to make sure that they're right, versus other people involved in it, is causing some concerns, as well as the fact that we don't have backup people. And I think that's something that when somebody's away, that we can run into problems with. I guess the other thing, I haven't heard from staff. Dave, do you have a comment on how we've done so far and where we'd like to go from here? Okay. Okay. I think then we should receive and perhaps give staff some indication of where we want them to go. I don't know where the right is, and maybe staff should be giving us some information on that as well. Go ahead, Mike.
Through you, Mayor, I mean, I think maybe at this time, I'd like to make a motion that staff, investigate the funding for implicating this for the township.
Okay. And would you consider adding on that we pick up maybe one or the two of the high impact ones and low cost, and see if we can't get them both going at the same time?
Okay, through you, Mayor Lobo, the council. First of all, thank you, MNP. I believe they're offline now for the presentation. Given the depth of information provided to council, and where we are concerning our treasury position procurement, I would respectfully ask council to please leave this with staff and information to council that we will be considering this for the future.
So Mike's got a motion on the floor.
Yeah.
You want to hold that until?
Well, would that motion still kind of coincide with what CAO talking? Could we get that report and that information back, the whole piece?
I'm not sure what you're saying.
Could we get that report back, like, after everything else is done? Can it come back to us as a full report? Looking for the funding for this project, or what options you want to do, which option you want to take, those kind of things.
Okay. I think what Dave is suggesting, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, is that he'd like to take a look at it with, if and when we get a treasurer here, full-time treasurer person to take a look at the report and provide their recommendations.
Mayor Lou,
Yes.
through you to council. So just to clarify a little bit, this document is an excellent document. Councilor O'Neill has identified, much of this has come before, previous to your current management staff. So this gives us a great guiding document to move forward with, much like that we have done in many other departments, much like was the original goal of this project. So based on where we are with respect to the treasurer's position and how close we are, I would suggest that this is definitely something that the new treasurer, should we be successful, will be definitely paying attention to and respecting and guiding our department. That's what it was for.
Okay, and I'll draw the motion.
Other comments? Okay. Go ahead, Mayor Godwin.
I'll make the motion to receive for information.
Seconder? Seconded by Councilor Booth. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion is carried.
Mayor Neville?
Yes.
I'd like to make another motion. It ties in with some of the discussion we had as council. So my motion would be to have a representative from Northumberland County attend the meeting to inform us on the new financial software being investigated, so that we can add that information to our knowledge. Want me to repeat that, clerk?
We can put it in, it is an operational function to do that investigation, and that will be come as part of the report.
I believe that it is within the purview of this council to ask for someone from Northumberland County to come and inform us on where they are, a delegation.
We can ask. Need a seconder for the motion? Seconded by Councilor Booth. Any further discussion? Go ahead, Councilor Ainsworth.
Through you, Mayor. I guess my question would be, would they tie into each other? Would this be something like what the county would be trying to do when they put in the new IT system to get all the municipalities on board, so it would all tie in? And maybe it might make it cheaper for everybody, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a possibility. My thinking on it is if we get a person that knows has a little bit more experience than myself, certainly, and the rest of us, that person will automatically be tied in with the accounting and will know what's going on there as well. Councilor Booth.
I agree with this too. I like this. It talks about now reading that they put out a tender in December 31st, so they're probably either done or close to it or whatever. And I like what Councillor Mike Ainsworth was saying, that it's a possibility that we could even, join up with them or somehow or whatever, or maybe it doesn't fit our needs, I don't know, but somebody that's already taken the forward and moved on and looking for it, maybe we can learn from that. So I just don't want to put ourselves just looking at two when maybe there is a half a dozen out there that more fit our needs, right? So we do have to do more research, and I agree with the CAO that with our treasurer, that person should be coming to us later once they're in the position, because there are a lot of other steps that have to be done before we even purchase this, right?
Absolutely. There's 7 other things beyond that one that I'm aware of. Go ahead, CAO.
Through you, Mayor Lowell, to add to the context of the conversation, in conversation with MNP with respect to the identified potential IT solutions for finance management. This document also provides you the ground work for creating an RFP. It's not to say that you have to go with what's been given to you in this report. There are many other programs out there that we are aware of. Some that will be lesser price, more affordable for a municipality this size, some that may be more expensive, but the comparative has to be done to see what exactly we want to achieve and then matching the program to that. should there be, and the discussion was had at the CAO table, in 2025, probably dating back to the spring, of the potential hiring for, finance software, through the county initiative. But that decision was then overturned and the municipalities were informed to do their own thing. So I don't know where that would end up, under today's direction. But certainly is a question that could be asked at a future CEO table where we are with that. But I do know that your staff is looking at all angles, all avenues, all opportunities. And certainly through, once the treasurer's position is filled, again, this document points them to that direction, that this is something that is of need for the community.
Yes,
Through you, I'm in favor of the motion. It's already in place. The information is gonna come forward. The CAO has already mentioned and looked at the table. Treasurer is going to be adding, a good lot of information as well, so I would be in favor of it. Thank you.
thank you. Go ahead, Councilor O'Neill.
I still think this is an excellent opportunity for us to get more information about what systems are being used and what options the county's investigating. It seems a straightforward thing to look at coordinating and working together where possible, and that information will be helpful to us as council.
Any other comments? Go ahead, Councilor Ainsworth.
Through you, Mayor, I'm just wondering if that report or some kind of information could come through you, that the county could give us a package for us just to have an agenda. Whether we're create less work or more work.
But I can ask that.
I think it's a good idea that we get more information on it all, obviously, and if the county has done some legwork that we don't have to do, if they could share that with us, that's probably a good idea too.
I guess my thought on it is that council doesn't need to get involved in this right now. Let the staff do their work. And then when it comes to us, if they need some support or decision making, then that's what we do. We can get the staff running around and so many different things that they can't keep up. Is my thought. Go ahead, Mayor Gavin.
I agree with what you're saying, Councillor Ainsworth. You haven't brought back from the county where this project is, but my understanding from watching the county meeting the other day is that 7 out of 8 municipalities are indeed involved in this process, and I'm not even sure, are we the 8th who's not involved? Are we, like, I'm confused on this, and it is tricky to coordinate between an upper tier and a lower tier and keep everything going and making sure we're aware of what the other tier is doing. But in this case, I don't see why we're not just saying, just ask somebody to come and talk to us for 10 minutes. Otherwise, we're gonna have to phone. Anyway, I just think it's straightforward.
Thank you. Yes.
So, Mayor Noble, just to confirm, the motion is to invite the Northumberland County Finance Team member to present on their finance system review process. Is that? Sure. Thank you.
Go ahead, Councilor.
Through your worship, I agree with what you're saying, Councillor O'Neill. It doesn't hurt to have somebody come here that's already done it and gone through it to give us a 10-minute presentation of where they stand, or if they have any. It's not costing us anything, and I think it saves staff time that they don't have to do a report. Let somebody come, do a report from the county to us, and and like you said, Mr. Mayor, we are a long way away from that. There's 7 other steps to do, but I don't think it hurts for us to see what the county or other people are doing at this time. Thank you.
Any further comments? All in favor? Motion carried. Thank you. We've met the original motion. Thank you. Okay, we're moving on to approval of the minutes. We have minutes from, council meetings of February the tenth, special council meeting for the budget on February the eleventh, committee of the whole, February seventeenth, special council meeting on February twenty-third, and the municipal planning / regular council meeting minutes for February the twenty-fourth. The recommendation is that the minutes of the following meetings be adopted. Regular council meeting February tenth, and special council meeting February eleventh, committee of the whole meeting February seventeenth, special council meeting February twenty-third, and the municipal planning regular council meeting February the twenty-fourth. Shall I get moved and seconded? Moved by Councilor Ainsworth. Seconded by Councilor Booth. Any discussion? All in favor? That's carried. Business arising from the previous minutes. We have recommendations 1 to 4 from the February 17th committee of the whole meeting to be adopted. Recommendation 1 was that the staff report back to council on the request to lower the speed line limit on Third Line Road, Rosemead. Recommendation 2, whereas currently the speed limit on Station Road south of the four-way stop to Lake Ontario, Chuck Point Road, Botanic Road is 80 kilometers an hour, and whereas this area has seen significant growth and requires a reduced speed on these roads. Now therefore be resolved, the council of the corporation of direct staff to assess the needs to adjust the speed limit on Station Road south of the four-way stop to Lake Ontario and include Chuck Point Road and Rattan Road. And the third recommendation is that the 2026 to 2031 multi-year accessibility plan be approved. And fourth, that the recommendations that the Northumberland Central Chamber of Commerce request for sponsorship of the Business Achievement Awards, be adopted, be supported for the Platinum Package sponsor of $2,000. Can I get a mover and seconder for all of those 4 recommendations? Moved by Councilor Ainsworth, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stover. Any questions or comments? Deputy Mayor Stover, please go ahead.
Through your Mayor, recommendation 2, I wonder if Lake Shore Road could be added to that. And I only say that is because of the signage needs to be updated. Seems to be a bit of a clarification needed around our fishing hole at Four Tops. And I would like to include Lake Shore on that as well. Thank you.
Okay, and what area are you talking about? You're talking about Lake Shore is about 10 miles long?
It is
Yes. So are you saying each particular area or the whole thing?
west. The other Lake Shore Road west is maybe a couple of miles. East, it is called Orchard, isn't it? Orchard Grove
Okay. So Lake Shore West.
to Highway 2.
Okay. Need a motion to do that? Moved by Councilor Ainsworth, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stover. All in favor? Motion is carried. Back to the original motion. That recommendations 1 to 4 from the February 17th committee of the whole meeting be adopted. Can I get mover and seconder? Moved by Deputy Mayor Stover, seconded by Councilor, we already got it. Yeah, we already had that. All in favor? That's carried. Next we have, from the Public Works Department, Grafton Drinking Water System 2025 Annual Summary Report. And we have Stefan here that will answer any questions that you may have. So Stefan, please come forward. I don't know if you'll have any questions or not. Thank you for being here. I think your report was pretty self-explanatory, but does anybody have any questions? Or do you have any comments, first of all? Shouldn't interrupt you, but.
Just through you, Mayor, it's the annual summary report. We receive it every year. I can take any questions that councilor may have, and if there's anything I'm unable to answer, I can forward the question on to Lakefront Utility.
Thank you. Go ahead, Councilor Ainsworth.
To you, Mayor. So, a great report, and I'm glad to see that it comes through, like, and I'm glad to see that everything's in good working order. But my question would be, not on the report, it's the new well. Where, because now the spring's coming, things are starting to thaw, when will that start to pick back up? And, you know, doing the archaeological assessment and getting that well hooked up.
Yeah, this is really the quality of the well. If you want to bring that up after, then we can.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. We'll have to ask for that, a separate, you can ask for a separate meeting.
Okay.
Because we didn't think to know, too. I agree. Anybody have any questions? Go ahead.
Obviously, this is part of the answer to when people are saying that I do see people questioning at times about the color of the water and what, we just say it's safe, don't worry about the color, or is there some better answer we could be giving?
Through you, Mayor, I can take that question to Lakefront Utility and just present it to them and see the feedback they provide and give that to all council members in an email if that's appropriate.
That would be wonderful, thank you.
Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Lobo. As a water user, I haven't seen any brown water. I'm just wondering if there's a time of day that, the water is brown. Personally, that has not been my experience. Thank you.
Other comments? Mr. Ben, I had a question, and I said to you recall the question I had, and your response. And basically what it was that it would appear that if you look at the water intake versus the discharge, it looks like there's more of a discharge than there's an intake. And that's on a graph, you can see that consistently every month, but I don't know, did you ever get an answer to that?
Yes, I was. So through you, Mayor, the question that Mayor Lowe presented to me was, is it possible to have higher discharge than water intake as is noted on page 5 of 10? The response that I received from Lakefront Utility is yes, they can discharge more than we do for pull from the wells, as the wells are a maximum of 14.5 liters a second. In 24 hours, the permit allows us to draw 1,252.8 cubic meters a day, while our storage volume on site is 1,050 cubic meters in the Clearwater well reservoirs and 250 cubic meters in the high lift pumps as well, for a total of 1,300 cubic meters. And then in 2025, the average daily flow was 278 cubic meters, and the maximum single daily flow was 613 cubic meters. In 2025, we had enough storage on site for 4.67 days. Therefore, if we pumped at 613 cubic meters on the maximum day for 2025, either for residential or fire usage or bulk water sales, we are still under the PTTW for 1,252.8 cubic meters at 51 capacity used.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Lobo. Just a comment, I'm hearing cubic meters. And of course, I'm going back to gallons because that's what I learned. And 1 cubic meter is 264 gallons of water, so that's a lot of water. So looks like we're not gonna run out. Thank you.
Councilor Ainsworth.
To you, Mayor. On figure 1, where it says the flow quantities for the Grafton drinking water system, the red line that spikes. I'm just kind of going back to where we said back in one of our other meetings that our water was running at about 80%. So does that spike represent anything in I want to say the red zone for too much water? It's figure 1, and it looks like 12 and 17.
Anybody have any comments on that?
I'm just wondering
It's
if that's
the,
pool season.
Or is it the trucks coming in and getting water? The maximum daily discharge.
So through you, Mayor, my understanding would that would be the max discharge for the day. I don't know specifically who would be drawing on it. I know we have a fiber optic build that is occurring throughout the township and possibly that they were drawing on that system then. But I can't answer specifically.
I don't know if I have the answer or not, but it's something I've always wondered about. When they once, I don't know how often, but I've seen it 3 or 4 times a year, where they open up the lines and flush them. And that runs sometimes, what it seems like a half an hour or an hour. Just full flow. And they do it, I say 3 or 4 times. I've seen it 3 or 4 times a year at different locations, so I don't know how often they do it, but it would be interesting to know how much water actually they do. It's lost. I don't know if they could get to that or not.
Through you, Mayor, I can ask Lakefront Utility if there's a possible estimate that they could produce for that.
That might answer the question. And I want to kind of echo what Councillor Ainsworth has said. This goes to show us, this report shows us how safe our water is. And we have good control of the system, and and I've seen this report several times over the years. And Lakefront Utilities continues to do a good job in operating that equipment. And then we appreciate their hard efforts. Any further comments? Okay, the recommended resolution reads that the council receive report PW 202602 Grafton Water Drinking Water Systems for the 2025 annual summary report for information. Mover and second. Moved by Councillor Booth, seconded by Councillor Ainsworth. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carried. We're going to move down to item 16, which is a closed session. And we'll thank you very much for making your presentation to us. And you're excused. So we'll ask staff to transform meeting into closed session so we can proceed from there. Okay. The motion reads that in regular council meeting of March 10th, 2026, move into a closed session on Municipal Act Section 239 2B for personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. For K, a position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board, and it's regarding treasurer recruitment. Discussion. For a second, please. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stover, second by Councillor Ainsworth. All in favor? Motion's carried. What is back? Council met in closed session to receive the report. Council met in closed session to receive a report on treasurer recruitment. Staff will provide direction and will proceed as discussed in closed. I get a move in a second. Moved by Councilor Ainsworth, seconded by Councilor Booth, all in favor? Motion's carried. So we're going to, confirming bylaw number 202615. Bylaw number 2615 being a bylaw to adopt the proceedings of the regular council meeting held on the 10th of day of March 2026, and to authorize execution be given a first, second, and third reading and finally pass this 10th day of March 2026. Did I get a mover in a second? Moved by Councilor Booth, second by Deputy Mayor Stover, all in favor? Motion's carried that the regular council meeting held on March 10th, 2026 be adjourned at 11:05 a.m. Mover to second, moved by Councilor Booth, second by Councilor O'Neill, all in favor? Motion's carried. Greg, do you have to rush? Second, back to first. Yo, that's